She was just the cook, until her secret recipe revealed a truth that would shatter his perfect life. Adam, a millionaire who made his fortune, has always believed that money solves everything. Cold, driven, and distant, he never paid attention to the people who work for him, until Helena, a humble cook, enters his life. Her meals awaken buried memories he can't explain, and her silent presence stirs emotions he's long repressed. The rain poured relentlessly as Adam stepped out of his sleek black car, his tailored suit untouched by the chaos of the storm. He barely noticed the woman standing by the service entrance, her worn coat soaked and her hands clutching a small, tattered bag. She was just another face in the background of his meticulously curated world, a world where people like her were invisible. But something about her presence felt faded. As he walked past her, their eyes met for a fleeting moment, and a strange, unsettling feeling washed over him. Helena had traveled hundreds of miles to reach this mansion, her heart heavy with a secret she had carried for decades. She knew Adam wouldn't recognize her. How could he? The last time she held him, he was just a baby, his tiny fingers wrapped around hers. Now he was a man of power, wealth, and cold indifference. She had come not for money or recognition, but for something far more profound: reconciliation. Yet, as she stood there, shivering in the rain, she wondered if the truth would bring redemption or ruin. The next morning, Adam sat at the head of his dining table, his breakfast prepared by the new cook. The meal was simple but extraordinary. Each bite evoked memories he couldn't quite place. The taste of the pancakes, the aroma of the coffee, even the way the eggs were cooked, it all felt hauntingly familiar. He dismissed it as nostalgia, but deep down, a seed of curiosity had been planted. Who was this woman in his kitchen? And why did her presence stir something he had long buried? Helena worked in silence, her hands moving with practiced ease as she prepared the next meal. She watched Adam from the corner of her eye, her heart aching with every cold glance he threw her way. She had expected his indifference, but it still stung. She wondered if he would ever see her as more than just the help, if he would ever uncover the shocking revelation that tied their lives together. For now, she focused on the small joys, the way he savored her cooking, the moments when his guard seemed to slip. Days turned into weeks, and the tension between them grew. Adam found himself drawn to the kitchen, not for the food, but for the strange sense of comfort it brought him. Helena's quiet strength and unconditional love began to chip away at his icy exterior, though he couldn't understand why. He started asking her questions about her life, her past, but she always deflected, her answers vague and evasive. The mystery only deepened his fascination. One evening, as Adam sat alone in his study, he stumbled upon an old photograph hidden in a dusty album. The image was faded, but the woman in it was unmistakable. Helena, decades younger, holding a baby in her arms. His breath caught in his throat as he realized the truth. The woman he had treated with such disdain was his mother. The revelation hit him like a thunderbolt, shattering everything he thought he knew about his life. That night, Adam confronted Helena, his voice trembling with a mix of anger and disbelief. She stood before him, tears streaming down her face, and began to unravel the family secret that had kept them apart for so long. The story was one of abandonment, struggle, and a love that had endured against all odds. As the truth sank in, Adam felt the walls around his heart begin to crumble. But would it be enough to bridge the gap between them, or was the damage too deep to repair? Adam's mind raced as he tried to process Helena's story. She spoke of a time when she was young and vulnerable, forced to make an impossible choice. She had given him up, not out of neglect, but out of love, a desperate attempt to give him a better life. The family he had always known, the one that had raised him in luxury, had orchestrated the separation to secure their control over his inheritance. The truth was a bitter pill to swallow, and it left him questioning everything he had ever believed. Helena's voice trembled as she recounted the years of longing and regret. She had watched from afar as Adam grew into the man he was today, never daring to interfere. But when she heard he was struggling, not with money, but with a hollow emptiness, she knew she had to step in. Her cooking, her presence, Her quiet acts of care were all attempts to reach him, to show him the unconditional love he had been missing. Yet she feared it might be too late. Adam's initial reaction was one of anger, not at Helena, but at the life he had been living. He had built an empire, but at what cost? His relationships were shallow, his heart closed off, and his sense of self built on a foundation of lies. The shocking revelation forced him to confront the emptiness he had been running from. For the first time in years, he felt something real, something raw. It was terrifying, but also liberating. As the days passed, Adam found himself drawn to Helena in ways he couldn't explain. He began to notice the little things, the way she hummed while she worked, the warmth in her eyes when she smiled, the quiet strength that radiated from her. She was a living reminder of the resilience of the human spirit, and it both inspired and unnerved him. He started to see her not as the help, but as a person who had sacrificed everything for him. Helena, meanwhile, struggled with her own emotions. She had dreamed of this moment for years, but now that it was here, she wasn't sure how to proceed. She wanted to protect Adam from further pain, but she also longed for the reconciliation they both deserved. The family secret that had kept them apart was a heavy burden, but it was also the key to their transformation. She just hoped Adam was ready to face it. One evening, as they sat together in the kitchen, Adam finally broke the silence. He asked her about the day she left him, about the pain she had endured, and about the life she had lived since. Helena's answers were honest and unflinching, and with each word, Adam felt the walls around his heart crumble a little more. For the first time, he saw her not as a stranger, but as the mother he had lost and found. The conversation marked a turning point, but the road ahead was far from easy. Adam knew that reconciling with Helena would mean confronting the family that had lied to him, and that was a battle he wasn't sure he was ready to fight. Yet, as he looked into her eyes, he felt a glimmer of hope. A hope that, despite the pain and the struggle, they could find redemption together. The question was, would he have the courage to take the first step? The morning sun streamed through the windows of Adam's study, casting long shadows across the room. He sat at his desk, staring at the old photograph of Helena holding him as a baby. The image was a stark reminder of the life he could have had, a life filled with love, not lies. His mind raced as he rehearsed what he would say to his adoptive family. The confrontation was inevitable, but the thought of it filled him with dread. How could he face the people who had raised him, knowing they had stolen his true identity? Helena watched from the doorway, her heart aching for the man she had only just begun to know. She could see the turmoil in his eyes, the struggle between loyalty and truth. She wanted to comfort him, to tell him that everything would be okay. But she knew this was a battle he had to fight on his own. All she could do was be there, a silent reminder of the unconditional love that had brought them together. That afternoon, Adam called a family meeting. His adoptive parents arrived, their faces masks of polite curiosity. They had no idea what was coming, and that made it all the harder. As Adam stood before them, his voice trembled with a mix of anger and sorrow. He laid out the truth, piece by painful piece, watching as their expressions shifted from confusion to shock to guilt. The room was thick with tension, and for a moment, no one spoke. His adoptive mother was the first to break the silence. She tried to explain, to justify their actions, but her words only deepened Adam's pain. They had taken him from Helena not out of malice, but out of a misguided belief that they could give him a better life. Yet, as Adam listened, he realized that their wealth and privilege had come at a cost he was only now beginning to understand. The family secret had shaped his life in ways he could never have imagined. The confrontation left Adam emotionally drained, but also strangely relieved. The truth was out, and while it didn't erase the pain, it gave him a sense of clarity. He knew he had a choice to make. He could cling to the life he had always known, or he could embrace the uncertain but hopeful future that lay ahead with Helena. The decision weighed heavily on him, but deep down he knew what he had to do. Helena, meanwhile, waited anxiously in the kitchen. She had no idea how the meeting had gone, but she could sense the storm brewing in Adam's heart. When he finally walked in, his face was pale, his eyes haunted. Without a word, he pulled her into a tight embrace, his body shaking with silent sobs. In that moment, Helena knew that the bond between them, though fragile, was unbreakable. As the days passed, Adam began to rebuild his life, piece by piece. He started by distancing himself from his adoptive family, not out of anger, but out of a need to find his own path. He spent more time with Helena, learning about her life, her struggles, and her dreams. Together, they began to heal the wounds of the past, their shared journey a testament to the power of love and redemption. But the road ahead was still uncertain, and Adam knew that the hardest part was yet to come. Adam and Helena began to spend more time together, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. They took long walks through the estate, the crisp autumn air a refreshing contrast to the heavy emotions they carried. Helena shared stories of her life, her struggles, her joys, and the moments she had missed with him. Adam listened intently, his heart aching for the years they had lost but grateful for the chance to reconnect. It was a slow, painful process, but it was also deeply healing. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Adam asked Helena about the day she had given him up. Her eyes filled with tears as she recounted the heart-wrenching decision she had been forced to make. She spoke of the love she had for him, a love so strong that she was willing to let him go if it meant he would have a better life. Adam's own tears flowed freely as he realized the depth of her sacrifice. For the first time, he truly understood the meaning of unconditional love. As their relationship deepened, Adam began to see the world through new eyes. He started to notice the people he had once overlooked, the staff who worked tirelessly to keep his life running smoothly, the strangers who crossed his path every day. He realized that wealth and power had blinded him to the simple, yet profound, connections that made life meaningful. Helena's presence was a constant reminder of the importance of humility, compassion, and gratitude. Helena, too, found herself transformed by their reunion. For years, she had carried the weight of her decision, wondering if she had done the right thing. Now, seeing the man Adam had become, flawed, yes, but also capable of growth and change, she felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in decades. Their journey was far from over, but it was a journey she was grateful to be on. Adam's transformation didn't go unnoticed. His friends and colleagues began to comment on the change in him. The softer edges, the genuine smiles, the newfound sense of purpose. At first, he struggled to explain it, unsure how to put his feelings into words. But as time went on, he realized that his story wasn't just about him and Helena. It was about the power of love, the importance of family, and the possibility of redemption. One day, Adam decided to take a bold step. He invited Helena to join him at a charity event, not as his cook, but as his guest. It was a small gesture, but it meant the world to her. As they walked into the room together, Adam felt a surge of pride, not in his wealth or status, but in the woman who had given him so much. For the first time, he felt like he was living a life that truly mattered. Yet, despite the progress they had made, there were still challenges ahead. Adam knew that reconciling with his past would require more than just time and patience. It would require courage, the courage to forgive, to let go, and to embrace the future with an open heart. As he looked at Helena, he felt a glimmer of hope. Together, they had overcome so much, and together they could face whatever came next. Adam's transformation began to ripple through every aspect of his life. At work, he started to prioritize people over profits, much to the surprise of his board members. He implemented policies that supported his employees, from fair wages to mental health resources. His colleagues didn't always understand the change, but they couldn't deny the positive impact it had on the company. For Adam, it was a way of honoring Helena's values he had come to admire and embrace. Helena, meanwhile, found herself stepping into a role she had never imagined. Adam encouraged her to share her story, not just with him, but with others who might benefit from her wisdom and resilience. She started small, speaking to local community groups about her experiences. Her message was simple but powerful. No matter how broken your past, there is always hope for redemption. Her words resonated deeply, and soon, She became a source of inspiration for many. The relationship between Adam and Helena also began to shift. What had started as a tentative connection grew into a deep, unshakable bond. They laughed together, cried together, and supported each other through the ups and downs of life. For Adam, it was a revelation. He had spent so much of his life chasing success, only to realize that true fulfillment came from the people you loved. Helena, in turn, found a sense of belonging she had longed for her entire life. But their journey wasn't without its challenges. Adam's adoptive family, still reeling from the confrontation, struggled to accept the new dynamic. They reached out, trying to mend the rift, but Adam wasn't ready to forgive. He knew that reconciliation would take time, and he wasn't willing to rush the process. For now, he focused on building a life with Helena, one step at a time. As the months passed, Adam and Helena began to explore their shared interests. They discovered a love for cooking together, spending hours in the kitchen experimenting with new recipes. It became a way for them to connect, not just with each other, but with their shared heritage. Helena taught Adam the dishes she had grown up with, each one a reminder of the family they had lost, and the family they were rebuilding. Their story also began to attract attention from the outside world. A journalist, intrigued by Adam's sudden shift in priorities, reached out to interview him. At first, Adam was hesitant, but Helena encouraged him to share their journey. The article, titled "From Wealth to Wisdom: A Millionaire's Journey of Redemption," went viral, touching the hearts of readers around the world. For Adam, it was a humbling experience, a reminder that their story was bigger than just the two of them. Yet, despite the progress they had made, Adam knew that their journey was far from over. There were still wounds to heal, bridges to build, and lessons to learn. But as he looked at Helena, he felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in years. Together, they had faced the past, embraced the present, and were building a future filled with hope. And for the first time in his life, Adam felt truly whole. As the seasons changed, so did Adam and Helena's lives. They began to think about the legacy they wanted to leave behind, not just for themselves, but for others who might be struggling with their own family secrets and lost connections. Adam decided to use his wealth and influence to create a foundation dedicated to reuniting families torn apart by circumstance. It was his way of turning pain into purpose, and Helena couldn't have been prouder. The foundation, named Fated Connections, quickly gained traction. Stories of unexpected reunions and shocking revelations poured in, each one a testament to the power of love and resilience. Adam and Helena worked side by side, their shared mission bringing them even closer together. For Helena, it was a dream come true, a chance to give others the hope and healing she had found with Adam. But the work wasn't always easy. There were moments of doubt and frustration, times when the weight of the stories they heard felt overwhelming. During those times, Adam and Helena leaned on each other, their bond a source of strength and comfort. They reminded themselves why they had started this journey in the first place: to show that no matter how broken a family might seem, there was always a path to reconciliation. One day, a letter arrived that would change everything. It was from a young woman named Clara, who had grown up in foster care and had recently discovered she had a long-lost sibling. Her story mirrored Adam's in many ways, and it struck a deep chord with him. He and Helena decided to take on her case personally, determined to help her find the closure they had found together. The search for Clara's sibling was a roller coaster of emotions. There were dead ends, false leads, and moments of heartbreak. But Adam and Helena refused to give up. They knew firsthand how life-changing a reunion could be, and they were determined to make it happen. Finally, after months of searching, they found Clara's brother, a man who had been searching for her just as desperately. The reunion was nothing short of magical. Clara and her brother embraced, tears streaming down their faces as they realized they were no longer alone in the world. Adam and Helena watched from the sidelines, their own eyes filled with tears. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated joy, a reminder of why they had started the foundation in the first place. As they drove home that night, Adam turned to Helena and smiled. "We're doing something important," he said. "Something that really matters." Helena nodded, her heart full. They had come so far, from a place of pain and separation to one of love and purpose. And as they looked ahead, they knew that their journey was far from over. Together, they were building a legacy of love, one that would endure long after they were gone. As the foundation grew, Adam found himself facing a challenge he hadn't anticipated: forgiving his adoptive family. Despite everything they had done, he couldn't shake the feeling that holding on to his anger was only hurting him. Helena, ever the voice of wisdom, encouraged him to consider reconciliation. "Forgiveness isn't about them," she said. "It's about freeing yourself." Her words lingered in his mind, planting a seed of possibility. One evening, Adam decided to reach out to his adoptive parents. The conversation was awkward at first, filled with long pauses and unspoken regrets. But as they talked, Adam began to see them in a new light. They weren't villains, they were flawed people who had made a terrible mistake. It didn't excuse what they had done, but it helped him understand their actions. For the first time, he felt a glimmer of compassion. The process of forgiveness was slow and painful, but it was also transformative. Adam began to let go of the bitterness that had weighed him down for so long. He started to see his adoptive parents not as enemies, but as part of his story, a story that was still being written. It wasn't easy, but with Helena's support, he found the strength to take the first step. Helena, too, had her own journey of forgiveness. She had spent years blaming herself for the choices she had made, wondering if she could have done things differently. But as she watched Adam heal, she began to forgive herself as well. She realized that she had done the best she could with the cards she had been dealt. And in the end, it had brought her back to her son. Together, Adam and Helena began to rebuild their relationships with the people who had shaped their lives. It wasn't perfect, and there were still moments of tension and pain, but they approached each interaction with an open heart and a willingness to listen. They knew that forgiveness wasn't a one-time event. It was a process, a journey they would continue to walk together. The foundation became a symbol of their commitment to healing and reconciliation. They hosted workshops on forgiveness, inviting experts to share their insights and stories. The events were deeply emotional, with many attendees breaking down in tears as they confronted their own pain. But there was also a sense of hope, a belief that no matter how broken a relationship might seem, there was always a chance for redemption. As Adam and Helena stood on stage at one of their events, looking out at the sea of faces, they felt a profound sense of gratitude. They had come so far, from a place of abandonment and loss to one of love and connection. Their journey had been anything but easy, but it had taught them the power of forgiveness, not just for others, but for themselves. And as they looked ahead, they knew that their story was far from over. With the foundation thriving and their personal lives on a path of healing, Adam and Helena began to dream bigger. They envisioned a world where no family had to suffer the pain of separation, where every lost connection could be restored. It was an ambitious goal, but they were determined to make it a reality. Together, they started planning a global initiative to expand the reach of faded connections, bringing hope to even more people. The initiative launched with a gala, a night filled with laughter, tears, and heartfelt speeches. Adam stood at the podium, his voice steady but emotional, as he shared their story. He spoke of abandonment, unexpected reunion, and the shocking revelation that had changed his life. He talked about the struggle to forgive, the power of unconditional love, and the hope that had carried them through. The room was silent, every person hanging on his words. Helena watched from the sidelines, her heart swelling with pride. She had never imagined that her simple act of love, cooking for her son, would lead to something so profound. As Adam finished his speech, he turned to her, extending his hand. Together, they stood before the crowd, a living testament to the power of redemption and the strength of family. The initiative quickly gained momentum, with people from all over the world sharing their stories of loss and reunion. Adam and Helena traveled to different countries, meeting families who had been torn apart by war, poverty, and circumstance. Each story was a reminder of why they had started this journey, and each reunion fueled their determination to keep going. But the work wasn't without its challenges. There were moments of doubt, times when the weight of the stories they heard felt overwhelming. During those times, Adam and Helena leaned on each other, their bond a source of strength and comfort. They reminded themselves that every small victory was a step toward a brighter future. One particularly emotional reunion took place in a small village in Eastern Europe. A mother and daughter, separated during a conflict decades earlier, were brought together through the Foundation's efforts. As they embraced, tears streaming down their faces, Adam and Helena felt a profound sense of fulfillment. It was moments like these that made all the hard work worth it. As they boarded the plane to return home, Adam turned to Helena and smiled. "We're just getting started," he said. Helena nodded, her heart full. They had come so far, from a place of pain and separation to one of love and purpose. And as they looked ahead, they knew that their journey was far from over. Together, they were building a legacy of hope, one that would endure long after they were gone. The success of Fated Connections began to inspire others to take action. Communities around the world started their own initiatives, inspired by Adam and Helena's story. Schools, churches, and local organizations began hosting events to reunite families and foster connections. The ripple effect of their work was undeniable, and it filled Adam and Helena with a sense of pride and purpose. They had started something much bigger than themselves. Adam found himself in high demand as a speaker, sharing his journey at conferences and events. His message was simple but powerful. No matter how broken your past, there is always hope for a better future. He spoke of the importance of forgiveness, the strength of unconditional love, and the transformative power of reconciliation. His words resonated deeply, touching the hearts of everyone who listened. Helena, meanwhile, became a mentor to others who had experienced loss and separation. She shared her story openly, offering guidance and support to those who were struggling to find their way. Her quiet strength and unwavering compassion made her a beacon of hope for many. Together, she and Adam were a force to be reckoned with, their partnership a testament to the power of love and resilience. But as their work grew, so did the challenges. There were moments of burnout, times when the weight of the stories they heard felt overwhelming. During those times, Adam and Helena reminded each other why they had started this journey. They took breaks when they needed to, finding solace in each other's company and the simple joys of life. It was a delicate balance, but one they were determined to maintain. One of the most rewarding aspects of their work was seeing the impact it had on others. They received letters and emails from people all over the world, sharing how their story had inspired them to reconnect with loved ones or seek forgiveness. Each message was a reminder of why they had started this journey, and it fueled their determination to keep going. As the years passed, Adam and Helena began to think about the future. They knew they couldn't do this work forever, but they wanted to ensure that their legacy would endure. They started training a new generation of leaders, passing on the lessons they had learned and the values they held dear. It was their way of ensuring that the ripple effect of hope would continue long after they were gone. Looking back on their journey, Adam and Helena felt a profound sense of gratitude. They had started as strangers, brought together by fate and a shocking revelation. But through love, forgiveness, and determination, they had built a life filled with purpose and meaning. Their story was far from over, but they knew that whatever came next, they would face it together. As Adam and Helena grew older, they began to reflect on the legacy they had built. Fated Connections had become a global movement, touching countless lives and reuniting families across the world. They knew their time at the helm was coming to an end, but they were confident that the foundation was in good hands. The next generation of leaders they had trained were passionate, dedicated, and ready to carry the torch forward. One of their proudest achievements was the creation of the Helena Scholarship, a program designed to support young people who had experienced family separation. The scholarship provided financial assistance, mentorship, and resources to help them pursue their dreams. For Helena, it was a way of giving back, a way of ensuring that no child would have to face the struggles she had endured. Adam, meanwhile, focused on expanding the foundation's reach into new areas. He launched initiatives to address systemic issues that contributed to family separation, such as poverty, war, and inequality. It was challenging work, but he approached it with the same determination and passion that had defined his journey. He knew that true change required addressing the root causes of the problem. Despite their busy schedules, Adam and Helena always made time for each other. They continued to cook together, their time in the kitchen a cherished ritual that brought them closer. It was a reminder of how far they had come, from a place of pain and separation to one of love and connection. Their bond was unshakable, a testament to the power of unconditional love. As they entered their golden years, Adam and Helena began to slow down. They spent more time at home, enjoying the simple pleasures of life. They took long walks, read books, and hosted dinners for friends and family. It was a peaceful, fulfilling chapter of their lives, one they had earned through years of hard work and sacrifice. But their work was far from over. They continued to mentor and inspire, sharing their story with anyone who would listen. They knew that their journey had the power to change lives, and they were determined to make the most of every moment. For Adam and Helena, it wasn't just about leaving a legacy. It was about making a difference, one person at a time. As they sat together on the porch one evening, watching the sunset, Adam turned to Helena and smiled. "We've done something incredible," he said. Helena nodded, her eyes filled with tears. "We have," she replied. "But the best part is that it's just the beginning." Together, they looked ahead, knowing that their legacy of love and hope would endure for generations to come. One of the most powerful tools Adam and Helena discovered in their work was the power of shared stories. They realized that when people opened up about their struggles, it created a sense of connection and understanding that was truly transformative. To harness this, they started a podcast called Faded Stories, where they invited individuals to share their journeys of loss, reunion, and redemption. The response was overwhelming, with listeners from all over the world tuning in. The podcast became a platform for healing, not just for the guests but for the listeners as well. People wrote in, sharing how a particular episode had inspired them to reach out to a long-lost loved one or seek forgiveness. Adam and Helena were moved by the impact their work was having, and it fueled their determination to keep going. They knew that every story shared was a step toward healing and reconciliation. One particularly emotional episode featured a man named Daniel, who had been separated from his sister during childhood due to their parents' divorce. Through the Foundation's efforts, they were reunited after 30 years. As Daniel shared his story on the podcast, his voice trembled with emotion. "I never thought I'd see her again," he said. "But thanks to Faded Connections, I have my sister back." It was moments like these that reminded Adam and Helena why they had started this journey. The podcast also gave Adam and Helena a chance to reflect on their own story. They shared the ups and downs of their journey, from the shocking revelation of Helena's true identity to the struggles of forgiveness and reconciliation. Their honesty and vulnerability resonated deeply with listeners, many of whom saw their own struggles reflected in Adam and Helena's story. As the podcast grew in popularity, Adam and Helena began to receive invitations to speak at larger events. They shared the stage with activists, authors, and thought leaders, spreading their message of hope and resilience. Their story became a symbol of the power of love and the importance of family, inspiring countless people to take action in their own lives. But with the increased visibility came new challenges. Adam and Helena had to navigate the complexities of fame while staying true to their mission. They remained grounded, focusing on the work that mattered most, helping families reconnect and heal. Their humility and dedication only deepened the respect and admiration people had for them. As they looked back on the impact of Faded Stories, Adam and Helena felt a profound sense of fulfillment. They had started with a simple goal, to share their story and help others. But it had grown into something much bigger, a movement that was changing lives and bringing hope to those who needed it most. And as they looked ahead, they knew that their work was far from over. One of the most unexpected outcomes of Adam and Helena's work was the ripple effect of kindness it created. People who had been touched by their story began to pay it forward, performing small acts of kindness that had a big impact. From reconnecting with estranged family members to volunteering at local shelters, the movement inspired a wave of compassion and generosity. Adam and Helena were amazed by the power of their story to inspire change. One such story came from a woman named Maria, who had listened to the Faded Stories podcast. After hearing an episode about forgiveness, She reached out to her father, whom she hadn't spoken to in over a decade. Their reunion was emotional and healing, and Maria credited Adam and Helena for giving her the courage to take that step. She later started a support group in her community, helping others navigate the challenges of family reconciliation. Adam and Helena were humbled by stories like Maria's. They realized that their work was creating a chain reaction of love and kindness, one that extended far beyond what they could have imagined. It was a reminder that even the smallest actions could have a profound impact, and it inspired them to continue spreading their message of hope. They also began to see the impact of their work in unexpected places. Schools started incorporating lessons on empathy and forgiveness into their curriculums, inspired by the Foundation's mission. Businesses began to prioritize family-friendly policies, recognizing the importance of strong family connections. The ripple effect of their work was everywhere, and it filled Adam and Helena with a sense of pride and purpose. But with the increased impact came new responsibilities. Adam and Helena had to navigate the challenges of managing a growing movement while staying true to their values. They remained committed to their mission, focusing on the work that mattered most, helping families reconnect and heal. Their humility and dedication only deepened the respect and admiration people had for them. One of the most rewarding aspects of their work was seeing the impact it had on children. Through the Foundation's initiatives, countless children were reunited with their families, their lives transformed by the power of love and connection. Adam and Helena knew that these children were the future, and they were determined to give them the tools they needed to thrive. As they looked back on the ripple effect of kindness they had created, Adam and Helena felt a profound sense of gratitude. They had started with a simple goal: to share their story and help others. But it had grown into something much bigger, a movement that was changing lives and bringing hope to those who needed it most. And as they looked ahead, they knew that their work was far from over. As Fated Connections grew, Adam and Helena realized the importance of building a strong community. They began to host annual gatherings, bringing together people from all walks of life who had been touched by their work. These events were filled with laughter, tears, and heartfelt connections, creating a sense of belonging that was truly transformative. For many attendees, it was the first time they felt understood and supported. One of the most powerful moments at these gatherings was the Circle of Stories, where participants shared their journeys of loss, reunion, and redemption. The room was often filled with raw emotion as people opened up about their struggles and triumphs. Adam and Helena listened intently, their hearts swelling with pride and gratitude. They knew that these stories were the heart of their work, and they were honored to be a part of them. The sense of community extended beyond the events themselves. Participants stayed connected through online forums and local meetups, offering support and encouragement to one another. Adam and Helena were amazed by the strength and resilience of the community they had built. It was a testament to the power of shared experiences and the human need for connection. But building a community wasn't without its challenges. There were moments of conflict and disagreement, times when the weight of the stories shared felt overwhelming. During those times, Adam and Helena leaned on each other, their bond a source of strength and comfort. They reminded themselves that the work they were doing was bigger than any one person, and that the challenges were worth it. One of the most rewarding aspects of the community was seeing the impact it had on individuals. People who had once felt isolated and alone found a sense of belonging and purpose. They formed deep, meaningful connections with others who understood their struggles, and together, they found the strength to heal and move forward. Adam and Helena also found inspiration in the community they had built. They were constantly amazed by the resilience and courage of the people they met, and it fueled their determination to keep going. They knew that their work was making a difference not just in individual lives, but in the world as a whole. As they looked back on the community they had built, Adam and Helena felt a profound sense of gratitude. They had started with a simple goal: to share their story and help others. But it had grown into something much bigger, a movement that was changing lives and bringing hope to those who needed it most. And as they looked ahead, they knew that their work was far from over. As Adam and Helena continued their work, they began to realize that their journey was as much about self-discovery as it was about helping others. Through the stories they heard and the connections they made, they gained new insights into themselves and their own lives. It was a process of growth and transformation that neither of them had anticipated, but one they embraced wholeheartedly. For Adam, the journey was about learning to let go of the need for control. He had spent so much of his life trying to micromanage every aspect of his existence, but the work with Fated Connections taught him the value of surrender. He learned to trust in the process, to embrace the unknown, and to find beauty in the unexpected. It was a liberating experience, one that brought him a sense of peace he had never known. Helena, on the other hand, found herself rediscovering her own strength and resilience. She had always seen herself as a victim of circumstance, but through her work with the Foundation, she began to see herself as a survivor. She realized that her struggles had shaped her into the person she was today, and that she had the power to use her experiences to help others. It was a powerful realization, one that filled her with a sense of purpose and pride. Together, Adam and Helena embarked on a journey of self-discovery, exploring new interests and passions. They took up painting, finding solace in the act of creation. They traveled to new places, immersing themselves in different cultures and experiences. It was a time of growth and exploration, one that brought them even closer together. But the journey wasn't without its challenges. There were moments of doubt and fear, times when the weight of their past felt overwhelming. During those times, Adam and Helena leaned on each other, their bond a source of strength and comfort. They reminded themselves that the journey of self-discovery was a lifelong process, and that it was okay to take it one step at a time. One of the most profound moments of their journey came during a retreat they hosted for the Fated Connections community. As they sat around a campfire, sharing stories and reflections, Adam and Helena realized how far they had come. They had started as strangers, brought together by fate and a shocking revelation. But through love, forgiveness, and determination, they had built a life filled with purpose and meaning. As they looked ahead, Adam and Helena knew that their journey of self-discovery was far from over. There were still wounds to heal, lessons to learn, and dreams to pursue. But they faced the future with a sense of hope and excitement, knowing that whatever came next, they would face it together. As Adam and Helena reflected on their journey, they realized the profound impact gratitude had on their lives. They began each day by listing 3 things they were grateful for, a simple practice that shifted their perspective and brought a sense of peace. It wasn't always easy. There were days when the challenges felt overwhelming, but even in those moments, they found something to be thankful for. Gratitude became their anchor, grounding them in the present and reminding them of the beauty in their lives. One of the things Adam was most grateful for was the unexpected reunion with Helena. He often thought about how different his life would have been if she hadn't stepped into his world. Her presence had brought him a sense of belonging and purpose he had never known, and he was deeply thankful for the love and wisdom she had shared with him. It was a gratitude that filled his heart every day. Helena, in turn, was grateful for the second chance she had been given. She had spent years carrying the weight of her past, wondering if she would ever find peace. But through her work with Adam and the Foundation, she had found not only peace but also a sense of fulfillment. She was thankful for the opportunity to make a difference, to use her experiences to help others, and to build a life filled with love and connection. Together, Adam and Helena began to incorporate gratitude into their work with Fated Connections. They encouraged others to practice gratitude, sharing how it had transformed their own lives. They hosted workshops and retreats focused on cultivating a grateful heart, and the response was overwhelming. People shared how the practice had helped them find joy in the midst of pain and hope in the face of adversity. One of the most powerful moments came during a gratitude circle at one of their events. As people shared what they were thankful for, the room was filled with a sense of warmth and connection. There were tears, laughter, and heartfelt hugs as people realized how much they had to be grateful for. It was a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always something to be thankful for. But gratitude wasn't just about the big moments, it was also about the small, everyday things. Adam and Helena found joy in the simple pleasures of life: a shared meal, a walk in nature, a quiet moment by the fire. They learned to appreciate the beauty in the ordinary, and it brought a sense of peace and contentment to their lives. As they looked ahead, Adam and Helena knew that gratitude would continue to be a guiding force in their lives. It had brought them through the darkest times and given them the strength to keep going. And as they faced the future, they did so with a grateful heart, knowing that whatever came next, they had each other, and that was more than enough. As Adam and Helena entered the later years of their lives, they began to think about the legacy they wanted to leave behind. They had built a foundation that had touched countless lives, but they knew their work wasn't done. They wanted to ensure that their message of love, forgiveness, and hope would endure long after they were gone. It was a daunting task, but one they approached with determination and passion. One of their first steps was to create a memoir, a book that would tell their story in their own words. They spent months writing and editing, pouring their hearts into every page. The book, titled Fated, A Journey of Love and Redemption, became a bestseller, touching the hearts of readers around the world. It was a testament to the power of their story and a way to ensure that their legacy would live on. They also began to mentor the next generation of leaders, passing on the lessons they had learned and the values they held dear. They hosted workshops and training sessions, sharing their insights on leadership, resilience, and the importance of family. It was a way of ensuring that the work they had started would continue, even after they were no longer able to lead. But their legacy wasn't just about the foundation or the book. It was about the lives they had touched. They received letters and emails from people all over the world, sharing how their story had inspired them to reconnect with loved ones, seek forgiveness, or pursue their dreams. Each message was a reminder of the impact they had made, and it filled them with a sense of pride and purpose. One of the most meaningful aspects of their legacy was the Helena Scholarship, which had grown into a global program supporting young people who had experienced family separation. The scholarship provided financial assistance, mentorship, and resources to help them pursue their dreams. For Helena, it was a way of giving back, a way of ensuring that no child would have to face the struggles she had endured. As they looked back on their journey, Adam and Helena felt a profound sense of gratitude. They had started as strangers, brought together by fate and a shocking revelation. But through love, forgiveness, and determination, they had built a life filled with purpose and meaning. Their story was far from over, but they knew that whatever came next, they would face it together. And as they looked ahead, they knew that their legacy of love and hope would endure for generations to come. They had started with a simple goal, to share their story and help others. But it had grown into something much bigger, a movement that was changing lives and bringing hope to those who needed it most. And as they faced the future, they did so with a grateful heart, knowing that their work was far from over. As Adam and Helena entered the twilight of their lives, they found themselves spending more time in reflection. They often sat together on the porch, watching the sunset and reminiscing about their journey. Those quiet moments became a cherished ritual, a time to celebrate their triumphs, acknowledge their struggles, and appreciate the life they had built together. Reflection, they realized, was a powerful tool for growth and healing. One evening, as they sipped tea and watched the sky turn shades of orange and pink, Adam turned to Helena and said, "Do you ever wonder what our lives would have been like if we hadn't found each other?" Helena smiled softly, her eyes filled with warmth. "Every day," she replied, "but I wouldn't change a thing. Our struggles made us who we are." It was a moment of profound gratitude and acceptance, one that encapsulated their journey. Reflection also allowed them to see how far they had come. They thought about the early days of fated connections, when they were just starting out and unsure of what the future held. They remembered the challenges they had faced, the moments of doubt, the sleepless nights, the emotional toll of their work. But they also remembered the joy of reuniting families, the tears of gratitude, and the countless lives they had touched. It was a legacy they were proud of. Through reflection, Adam and Helena also gained new insights into themselves. They realized that their journey had been as much about personal growth as it had been about helping others. Adam learned to let go of his need for control, embracing the beauty of uncertainty. Helena discovered her own strength and resilience, realizing that her struggles had shaped her into the person she was today. It was a journey of self-discovery that had brought them closer together. They also began to reflect on the lessons they had learned along the way. They talked about the importance of forgiveness, the power of unconditional love, and the value of community. They shared these lessons with others, hoping to inspire them to embark on their own journeys of healing and growth. It was a way of ensuring that their legacy would endure, even after they were gone. But reflection wasn't just about looking back. It was also about looking ahead. Adam and Helena began to dream about the future, imagining what the next chapter of their lives might hold. They talked about traveling to new places, writing another book, and spending more time with their loved ones. It was a time of hope and excitement, a reminder that life was still full of possibilities. As they sat together on the porch, watching the stars appear in the night sky, Adam and Helena felt a profound sense of peace. They had come so far, from a place of pain and separation to one of love and connection. Their journey had been anything but easy, but it had been worth it. And as they looked ahead, they knew that their story was far from over.